Welcome people, we end up back here again with another video. In today's video, I'll be giving you a review of Chelsea's demolition against Newcastle. It's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. Top 4 is gone. Top 4 is very much gone. Like, it's time to face the facts. Top 4 is absolutely gone. Maybe top 6 possible, top 8, top 10 possible, but top 4 is not for us this season. We blew it yesterday. And yesterday's 4-1 loss is not because of a lack of talent, a lack of cohesion within the team, nothing like that. It's not like the players are not playing for the manager, anything like that. It's not that. It's quite simply the fact that there was no discipline yesterday. And even when you look at the leaders of the team who should be providing guidance to the younger players, even they showed a lack of discipline, right? And this is not just within the team itself, but even if you look at the coaching staff, and we'll get to that shortly. So, interestingly enough, I wasn't aware of this, right? Mauricio Pochettino had a touchline ban, which meant that he couldn't be on the touchline throughout the entire game, right? To speak with the players directly, right? He had to communicate through his assistant manager. So I don't know if they were speaking through the phone or whatever, right? But that was the only way that he could communicate with the team, through his assistant manager. I think his name is Jesus Perez. Okay, cool. So now, the reason that he had a touchline ban was because he had been suspended. Why was he suspended? He was suspended because he got too many yellow cards. First problem. Earlier in the week, I heard that Nicholas Jackson arrived at training sometime after his ban, right? Because he had picked up too many yellow cards and he had a suspension. So sometime after that, he had showed up to training and everyone else was training as normal. And he was just running to the point where he ran until he couldn't run anymore. He ran until his legs gave out and he fell to the ground, right? And that was his punishment for accumulating too many yellow cards and getting suspended, right? So that was Pochettino disciplining him and showing him that he shouldn't be getting stupid yellow cards by kicking the ball away or speaking inappropriately with the referee and things of that nature, right? And stupid fouls. He should not be getting yellows for that and getting suspended. Okay, cool. So he disciplined Jackson in that way. But he himself now accumulated too many yellow cards, which meant that he couldn't be on a touchline to communicate directly with his team. First problem. And on his part, that's a lack of discipline. And that lack of discipline trickles down from him to the rest of the team, right? So, as we've already evaluated, he showed a lack of discipline. First problem. The manager is supposed to be somebody who the players look to for guidance and wisdom and instruction and all these good things. They're supposed to be like a dad in a way, or an uncle, or at the very least an older brother that the players look up to, that they aspire to be like. So if he's on that foolishness, what do you think the rest of the players are going to do? If he's on foolishness like that, what are the rest of the players going to do? Cool. Then you look at Thiago Silva yesterday. Thiago Silva, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't pick up a yellow card, but he made a mistake in the second half, which led to Newcastle's third goal. And that third goal is what buried us. That after that third goal, you knew it was over. Newcastle have this game won. It's done. Now, when I think about that, that was very, very bad from him, right? And he's not a captain in this team, but he's very much a leader within this team, right? You've got Reece James, who's the captain, but I would say Thiago Silva is a little bit more of a leader just because he's much more experienced, right? He's old enough to be the father of some of the players within the team. So if he's making mistakes like that as well, what do you think the younger players are going to do? Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next person, Reece James. He was supposed to go to St. James's Park yesterday and make it St. Reece James's Park, but he didn't do that, bro. He was not on that, right? Going forward, he was decent, I didn't have any problem with him in terms of how he was attacking. I think his defending was okay, right? But then, I believe it was in the first half, he got a stupid yellow card for kicking the ball away. I'm not sure if it was in the first half or the second half, right? But regardless, he got a stupid yellow card for kicking the ball away. And this season, what the officials have clamped down on is players kicking the ball away, right? That's a booking, quick, right? And it happened in the Everton and Man United game today as well. But players weren't necessarily booked for it, so that was a bit weird. But anyway, they're supposed to be booked for that, kicking the ball away. Then, another thing that he can get booked for easily is talking back to the referee. Okay, cool. So now Reece is the captain within the team, right? Alongside Thiago Silva, he's supposed to lead this team, right? To greatness, to glory. And he's picking up a stupid yellow for kicking the ball away. There's no need to be kicking the ball away. You see, if Newcastle were on the break and he has to commit a foul and take one for the team and he gets yellow carded for that, that's perfectly fine. It's okay. Or maybe like he gives a foul away and the referee is being harsh and gives him a yellow. Then it's more understandable. But for you to just kick the ball away, there's no need for that, bro. There's no need for that. And he got booked for his troubles. Cool. Then later on, it's already 3-1 at this point. And he has the ball, right? He miscontrols it. He gives it away to Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon runs onto it and Reece James pulls him back. He gives away the free kick. He gets another yellow card. 2 yellow cards are sending off. Chelsea are now down to 10 men. The score is 3-1. And if Newcastle's third goal didn't bury us, that moment definitely did. Because at 3-1, you're thinking, okay, I think there was like 25 minutes to go. You're thinking at that point, maybe Chelsea can score 2 goals, and just get a 3-3 draw and move on with a point. But after that red card, it was done. It was officially done. Any little bit of hope left the building at that point. Now, let's move on to the other players, right? You got a Marco Correa, right? After Reece James has been sent off. He gets a stupid yellow card for talking inappropriately to the referee, right? And this yellow card means now that he has to serve a 1-match ban against Brighton, right? For what reason? For what reason? That was not necessary at all. That was not necessary at all. And now it means that he misses a game. So our right back will not be available. Our number 1 right back will not be available against Brighton. Our number 1 left back right now will also not be available against Brighton. Sensational. And then you look at Benoit Badiashile, right? He was not on it today. He was not on it today. In terms of his marking, his positioning, it was bad today. It was bad. We move on into the midfield. I don't blame Enzo Fernandez too much yesterday, sorry. But Conor Gallagher, I'm looking at him like he was off it today. He was very much off it. And he was soft. With the 50-50s, he wasn't winning them. He was losing his men easily in terms of them just getting free in a pocket of space. And I'm thinking, yes, you're young, but you've been the heartbeat within this team at times this season. And you're moving like this, it's over for us. We move into the attack. Sterling, he got us a goal. It was a very, very good goal. Extremely good goal. But at the same time, at other points in the game, he's just not making the right type of decisions. And I'm one who likes to defend Sterling, but it just wasn't good enough at certain points. The free kick was amazing, but at other points in the game, it just wasn't good enough. And then you also look at Cole Palmer, right? He's been so good consistently since he's joined us from Man City, right? For that 40 million, looking like a bargain. But what happened yesterday? He was cold. He was not good at all. He was not up to speed. He was not sharp. His passes were off. Just everything was just wrong, So when you have all those individual performances that are not so good, that's when you get beat 4-1 by Newcastle at St. James's Park. Now, if we look at the individual goals, let's go through the individual goals, right? With the first goal, Kieran Trippier, right, gets the ball Newcastle's right-hand side, our left-hand side, right? And he puts a ball into the box. Now, in my mind, Leslie Ugochukwu should cut that out immediately. He should cut that ball out immediately. It should not come into the box. But nonetheless, it does. And then Anthony Gordon wins the ball, right? And Reece James was his marker, right? And initially, I was a bit mad about the fact that Reece didn't win the ball. But when I looked at that moment of play again, I could see that he couldn't really win the ball. It was what it was. Cool. Gordon gets the ball, right? And then he moves out of the box onto the edge of the box. He plays a pass to Joe Linton. Joe Linton plays it to this young kid named Lewis Miley, right? Miley gets the ball. Gallagher should be tied to him. Ugochukwu should be tied to him, but they're not. Instead, they're giving him buckets of space, and he passes it nicely to Alexander Isak, who puts it away expertly. Now, in terms of Isak getting the ball and being able to look at Sanchez's position and shoot the ball into the back of the net, with that, I'm blaming Benoit Badiashile because his positioning was off. He should be on Isak there. If he's on Isak, then Isak can't do what he did. But nonetheless, we go 1-0 down. Okay, it is what it is. Moving on. Now, prior to that, Newcastle were putting us under pressure. And throughout the first half, really, they put us under quite a bit of pressure. And it was looking like a game where we can only really win by playing on the counter. That's what we were basically looking like in the first half. Cool. I think it was maybe 10 minutes later. That wasn't the 12th minute. I think it was 10 minutes later when Nicholas Jackson wins the ball back, right? He gives it to Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez plays a great pass to Sterling, right? Who runs into quite a bit of space, right? And it's looking like he's through on goal. And then he gets fouled and wins a free kick. Fantastic. And then he steps up and he shoots. And after he shoots, I'm thinking this ball is going out. It's done. It's over. But he puts it into the back of the net very, very well. That was a fantastic finish from Raheem Sterling. And when I saw that, I was thinking to myself, that's why he's starting over Mudryk, right? As much as Mudryk is a great player, Sterling producing brilliant moments like that is why he's starting over him at the minute. So that is what it is. Cool. The first half goes on and Newcastle did what they continued to do what they had done before they had scored, putting us under quite a bit of pressure and basically forcing us to play on the counter-attack. And whilst they were doing this, putting us under pressure, whatever, right, we were losing all the challenges, really. We never looked in control of the midfield, right? It looked quite easy to get by our midfield, right, and put the defense under pressure. We didn't have it locked down. And someone who I really like a lot, right, Mr. Mark Goldbridge, he says, if you lose the midfield battle, you will most likely lose the game. And yesterday, we absolutely lost the midfield battle because we got dominated. And Poch said this after the press conference, that we need to be stronger in our mental game because we were soft in every single challenge yesterday. And that is just atrocious. There's no reason why that should be the case. If you're going to lose away from home against Newcastle, it's fine because they're a good team. But you at least need to perform at a level where it's respectable. Now, moving on to the second half, you're thinking, okay, Leslie Ugochukwu hasn't really won his duels and he hasn't been getting tight to his men, right? So maybe it's time to bring him on off, bring on Moises Caicedo, right? Who was on the bench. But Jesus Perez and Mauricio Pochettino, they decided not to do this. And initially, I was okay with it. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. He hasn't taken off Leslie. Let's see if the second half is better. If it's not better, make changes before something happens. Unfortunately for us, something happened before we made the changes. So Anthony Gordon gets the ball on Newcastle's left-hand side, right? And he cuts inside. So their left-hand side, our right-hand side. He cuts inside and puts a ball into the box. And when this ball is put into the box, right, the Newcastle captain, Jamal Lascelles, is in buckets of free space, right? And he's in between Badiashile and Kukureya. And neither of them are picking him up. And especially Badiashile. Because Kukureya, yes, you could say, he could have done something there. He could have put Lascelles off. Badiashile is very, very tall. Like 190 centimeters plus. So he should be on him. He should be preventing him from getting that header off and ending up in the back of the net. That was very, very frustrating to see. All right, cool. Now, I didn't see the third goal in real time, but I'm going to tell you why that is and how the third goal actually did occur after I watched it on the highlight reel. So now, after the second goal, the electricity had come back. I had been streaming on my phone. And when the electricity came back, I was waiting for the TV to reboot and I had stopped streaming on my phone. And all of a sudden, the score has gone from 2-1, literally a minute ago, to 3-1. And I'm thinking, what has just happened? So what had happened was that Cole Palmer had gotten the ball after the kickoff, and he had played it back to Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva gets the ball, and it seems as though he wants to play a back pass to Robert Sanchez, but he gets it very, very wrong, and he puts the ball into a perfect path for Joelinton to run onto and to produce a very good finish. At that point, it was 3-1, and Reece hasn't been sent off yet, but it was already looking difficult. Cool. I think it was 2 minutes after that, Reece does what he does, and he gets himself sent off. And like I said, at that point, hope left the building. We did try to change things after that. We had brought on Mudryk, Caicedo, Armando Broja. We had taken off Cole Palmer at some point after Reece had been sent off, and we had put on Levi Colwill. But at that point, it's too late. It's over. It's over. O-V-E-R, over. For the rest of the game, really, Newcastle were just toying with us in terms of keeping the ball and making us run. There were a few chances where we got the ball back off of them, and we were in counter-attacking situations, but we couldn't make the most of that. I think part of the reason was due to the fact that we were man down, but at the same time, we weren't making the right decisions in attack. Cool. Towards the end of the game, a pass is played in behind, right? And Anthony Gordon runs onto it. And his marker was Benoit Badeshile. All right, cool. He gets into the box, right? And he's able to cut in and shoot, and he scores. And now I'm looking at Badeshile and saying, that's your man that you should have been marking, number one. Number two, you let him cut in and shoot with his right foot. You should have forced him outside. Why didn't you force him outside? So, yeah, that's a breakdown of the game. That's where we went wrong. And I think the main thing is we lack discipline, and that needs to change immediately. Poch needs to, I don't know, I think maybe he needs to run with the players until everybody falls to their feet, right? And they can't run anymore, as punishment for all of them, himself included, for the lack of discipline they displayed against Newcastle. And then from there, perhaps everyone has to show up to training. If, let's say it starts at 8 currently, they start showing up at 20 to 8, right? And let's say they finish by 4. They need to finish by 4:30 now, right? And just instill that discipline and say, we're not messing about anymore. In any areas where we've been slacking, we need to stop slacking immediately, right? When we're in game, we need to be smart about how we do things. We shouldn't be getting yellow cards for kicking the ball away. That is very, very stupid. It's very stupid. It's unnecessary. We shouldn't be giving away cheap fouls and free kicks, because that's also where we went wrong yesterday. We gave away so many corners and so many free kicks, right? And with those free kicks, cheap fouls for no reason. Levi Colwill's coming on, right, after it's 3-1, right? And Reece James has already been sent off. He's getting himself a yellow card for no reason. Why? Why, my guy? Why are you doing that? Caicedo giving away a foul as well. Cheap foul. Mudryk giving away cheap foul. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this to ourselves? We already lost the game because of such, and we kept on doing it even after the game was lost. It doesn't make sense. So that needs to change immediately. Right, so no more yellows because we're kicking the ball away. No more yellows from cheap fouls. No more yellows from talking back to the referee. That's very, very important, because as much as a decision may be very frustrating, it's never going to be changed by us shouting at the referee. In fact, it's only going to make our situation worse. So let's step away from that and stop doing it immediately. Those are my thoughts on the game. Let me know what you think in the comments, right? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the bell notifications to be notified once I've uploaded. In the comments also, like I asked for in the previous video, please let me know how I can improve the viewing experience, how I can improve as a content creator in order to allow me to achieve my goal of hitting 1,000 subs by the 24th of November, 2024. I think that's all I've got to say for this video. Oh yeah, one more thing. This setup that you see around me, this is an improvisation. This is not how I wanted to film, but circumstances meant that I had to film like this. So yeah, hopefully for other uploads, I'll just be able to film by the dining room table and everything will be fine. But if I have to use this space again, I'll just have to use it again. So yeah. Other than that, cheers people, goodbye, have a good one, and I'll see you next time.